Instead of simply using text and static images within your emails, you can spice things up a little bit by adding animated GIFs. This Action Network tutorial will be broken up into two parts. First, we'll look at creating an animated GIF inside Canva, and then we'll bring it over into Action Network where we can send it out through an email newsletter. So here you can see our new email newsletter that we're going to send out. But again, instead of simply using regular images and text, we can head on over to Canva to create an animated GIF. To get started with our design, I'm going to select Custom Size over here on the left. And when it comes to best practices, the width of an email graphic typically is around 600 pixels. So I'll put 600 by, let's say, 400. Click on Create New Design. And this first part is pretty important. We're going to click on the workspace and then click on the time duration here. I'm going to show you how to create two different types of GIFs. The first one being like an image carousel. So basically the images are going to rotate through while you're reading your email. And because we don't want the images to take too long to cycle through, we're going to change this from 5 seconds down to, let's say, 1 second. And then that way the images will change every second. Now, if you find that 1 second is maybe a little too quick, we can maybe change it to, let's say, 2.5 seconds. Now for the fun part, we can add our images. So if I go over to Uploads here, we'll drag and drop our images onto the workspace. So let's say we'd like to cycle through some of the photos from a previous Calm conference. We can certainly do that. Now that I've added my first image, I am going to click on the 3 dots here and hit Duplicate Page. That way it's going to carry over that 2.5 second time frame. If I just hit New Page, it might start over at 5 seconds and then the carousel is going to be off. So we'll go ahead and just keep dragging and dropping images into place. Now, another thing you can do is hit Command or Control D, and that's going to duplicate your slide for you. And again, I'll simply just add a few more here. All right, so I have 4 images that are going to rotate through. Now you could add more images if you wanted to, of course. Let's go ahead and save. So we'll hit Share, Download. And then instead of saving as a PNG or a JPEG, we're going to click PNG here and head on down to GIF or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it. We'll make sure that all pages are selected. Now, if for some reason we changed our mind and we only wanted to do the first 3 images, we could unselect the 4th, for example. But in this case, I will keep all 4 and I'll hit Done, and then download and save the file to my computer. Once the file has been downloaded to your computer, we can head on back to Action Network. And if we scroll down, we can basically upload it like we would any other image, but instead of a JPEG or a PNG, it is a GIF/GIF. So we'll head on up to the Upload Image icon here. Click on it and then hit the Upload tab. From there, we'll click on the Browse button and select our file. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that within the email itself, the images are going to rotate through instead of being stuck on just like one plain image. Now, just like an image, you can certainly click on it and add other details. You can add things like alt text. You can also add a URL. So if you wanted it to link out to a web page, you can do that. And then you can also play around with the alignment as well. So let's say you wanted it in the center of your email, you could move it to the center. So let's hit Save here. And now it's centered within our email. So if I hit Save and Preview here, we'll see what the email looks like. So we've got a banner image at the top. We would have some text, likely more text than this, but then the animated GIF here. So that's one way of adding a little more movement to your email newsletter. Another thing that you could do is create a static image, but add an animation to it. So maybe like a little graphic. Let's say you had a video that you wanted people to watch. Instead of just adding a text link to your email, you could add an image with like an animated play button. So we'll head back to Canva and we'll create another 600 by 400 design. So again, you could head on over to Uploads and upload a picture from your computer, or you could check out stock photos under Elements. And if we head down to Photos and hit See All, you can see that there are quite a few to choose from. And once you find a photo that you like, you can drag and drop it onto your workspace. Just like any other Canva design, if you need to kind of move things around, you certainly can. So this is what it's looking like so far. Next, we'll go and find our animated play button. We'll head on over to Elements and just search for the word play, or maybe play button. And then under graphics here, if we hit see all, right away we have this one here. Some of these are just kind of regular graphics, but you do have a few animated ones. So I'll go up to the top because I did like that red one here. And then we'll simply kind of just resize it a little bit and reposition it. And you can see how this could be a pretty simple but effective way of getting people to click on the image. So once we're ready, we'll go ahead and hit share again, download, and then instead of a video, we're going to head on down to GIF. We'll click download, save it to our computer, and then head on back to Action Network. Now that that's done downloading, I'm going to go to Action Network. And I'm simply going to replace the GIF that we had in place before. So I'll go ahead and click on it and then hit replace image with a new upload. I'll click on the upload tab and then hit browse. So it is a pretty subtle addition, this animated play button, but you can see how it would kind of stand out as you're scrolling, reading through your email. So that's it for this Action Network / Canva tutorial. For more, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll see you in the next tutorial.